Hey friends, I thought I would make a video updating you on my reading for this year and what I've sort of gotten myself into lately. Um, so, if you've ever read the children's book, If You Give a Mouse a Cookie, you will sort of see how my brain works. Because if I get an idea, it always ends up like spidering out like a rock on the windshield. So a few months ago, or maybe it was last month, the Booker International list was posted. And I thought to myself that it is really not cool that I'm super focused on the Booker Prize and I sort of ignore the International Prize. So what I did was I bought a few books off that list to sort of dip my toes in the water. And y'all, sad news, everything that I chose, none of it made the short list. And that made me think that there's some real holes in my education around international literature. And that got me thinking about something that I really love about the Hardcore Literature Book Club. Ben does these amazing videos and amazing lectures, and he adds so much historical content. Okay, so are you following me so far? International Booker list, Ben. I was also, at the beginning of the year, doing a Catherine Project lecture on the Iliad and the Odyssey. And it was a lot of fun. And I realized that I was reading great epic poetry backward. I had started with Milton with the Hardcore Literature Book Club. Then I read Dante. And then I was reading the Iliad and the Odyssey. And I was like, wait a second. I'm reading these in a opposite way that they appeared on the stage of world literature. So I decided I'm going to read some world history and scaffold my reading on the timeline that these books appeared, so that I can get an idea of the context, and two, the influence, and three, the greater conversation that was being had around literature at that time, those times. So, this poses some problems, and I will explain how I get around that in a second. But first thing I did was I bought, I love a textbook, y'all. I'm old school. So I got on Thrift Books, and you can get old editions really inexpensively of textbooks. This is an AP World History textbook, $6, y'all. These things get close to $200 if you're buying them new. The downside is that I have to put up with people's highlighting, and I don't even know what this is about. What are we doing here? Why are we highlighting this map? That's really profoundly distracting for me, but for $6 I can suck it up. I also am a believer in multiple sources, so I picked up, using my Thrift Books reward points, I picked up A Penguin History of the World. This brick is also the 6th edition. I think they have a 7th, so again, one edition prior. I don't think that in this context it makes enough of a difference to warrant the difference in cost, if that makes sense. And because I do love a map, and because I do love context, I discovered these lovely little world atlases, historical atlases of ancient civilizations, and it has tons of wonderful maps to give me both a picture of time and place. So I literally started at the beginning of like evolution, so Homo sapiens, and while I was reading about how we evolved, I had remembered that I'd started and not finished this gem, and so I restarted this, and wow, y'all, it makes such a difference to read things together. I think the way Ben phrases it is he talks about complementary reads, and I've never realize the power of a complimentary read. So if you're anything like me, you've gotten, like, you'll be reading something and you're like, this reminds me of this. I need to remember that. And I will have it somewhere on these shelves, and then I'll forget about it. And then the next time I read it, it's out of context. If you're a monogamous reader and you need someone to push you into polyamory for reading, let me be that person, because there is something profoundly helpful about reading that thing in relationship to other things, in communication with other things. So I've really had a blast. There's actually a few other things. I think I'm reading like 14 books at a time right now, and it's great. It's not as terrible as it sounds. So I finally made it through the Stone Age, and I am at the place where writing shows up, and that has led me to the Sumerians, where writing began, or as far as we know. And I am reading this. Just started, Epic of Gilgamesh, and I went with the Stephen Mitchell translation. So there's a few reasons for this. I've read some of his translations before, and I know they like them. They like them. I like them. Also, I don't have a good library here. Don't get me started. But it's really difficult because if I want to try different translations, I have to buy them. And as you can see, I think I already have enough books. Just kidding, that's not really a thing. But I need to be careful about how much I spend on books that I'm just going to turn around and sell back, if that makes sense. So I was pretty confident about the Mitchell translation. Also, don't laugh at me, but another reason I chose this was it is a deckled edge book. Also, the end papers, I don't think you can really see it, sorry, the glare. The end papers are beautiful, and this lovely design is on every single page. So it's a beautiful thing to read, and I'm one of those people where the book itself is part of the reading experience for me. And so, like, a well-designed book, according to my tastes, is just a home run. So, like Harari's book here, I love it. This is a really heavy cover. I love one of these flaps, even on a soft cover. And the paper is just heavy, thick, and it's a little glossy, so my highlighter's gonna slide over this like butter on a bald monkey. So I'm really looking forward to, I'm about halfway through, going back through and doing my notes. Okay, where was I? I think I lost myself a little. So, yeah, and the other really cool thing that I just realized a few seconds ago was, because I'm doing all of this reading and because I'm learning about the history, I know this mask. This is either, so there's actually, they're not sure, it's either Sargon, a Sumerian king, or his nephew. And I love that I recognize that without having to like look it up. And that's because I'm reading the textbook. So, again, just another pitch for reading multiple things at one time. There will be just so many layers and connections, and your brain will be lighting up like a Christmas tree. So that's where I am right now. The problem that presented itself that I want to talk about real quick was I had to decide between, because once writing happens, literature explodes, right? Next, you get the Egyptians start firing off, and you get lots of text there, and then China, tons of amazing writing comes out of China. And the point for me was to, I didn't want to miss any part of the world. There's a real tendency, my education was very Eurocentric. I have a great books of the Western world encyclopedia set, obviously. And that bothers me a little bit. That makes me sad. That makes me feel like I'm missing wisdom from all over the world. So my original thought was, well, I'll just follow one area all the way out. And I decided actually what I'm going to do is stick to the timeline. So I'm looking at, about the time writing showed up. Did that show up anywhere else? Do we have any of those texts? And then I'll go back 500 forward, not back. I'll go forward like 500 years and look around the world and see what there is. Because the whole point of this project is the conversation. It's the influence. It's the watching humanity evolve together that I really don't want to miss out on. And I am totally up for and excited to hear if anyone has some suggestions. You can text me, for those of you that my friends and family. You can email me. You can make a note on Substack. You comment on this video. Tell me if there's anything that you feel like is like a really underrepresented piece of world literature, because I would love to not miss part of that conversation. And speaking of conversations, I have so much gratitude for the conversations that these funny little non-edited, not fluffy videos have evoked. I had a ton of side-eye about any sort of YouTube shenanigans, but it's been really fun talking to y'all. And I'm excited about the people that I've met, and I hope your reading is going really, really well. And I hope you're having a wonderful spring, and I appreciate you, and I hope you know that you are loved. So thank you again. I will link the Substack post that sort of goes with this conversation. And yeah, have a great, I guess we're mid-spring now. Have a great rest of your month.